Hey everyone, my name is Kim G. Silva from BTBTED 1B, and my topic is all about the theories and principles on organizational leadership on chapter 10. Theories and principles on organizational leadership. For any organization, leadership is perhaps the most important element. Much of the success of organization is depends on the competence of effectiveness of leaders. Hence, major activities carried on by any leaders must not be governed by impulses or trial and error behavior. In the following words of Bowman and Deal, they emphasize how theories and principles can be provide a framework for leadership activities and decisions. Some organizations are complex, surprising, and ambiguous. They are formidably difficult to comprehend and manage. We have to rely on the tools in hand, including whatever ideas and theories we have about what organizations are, how they work. Our theories or frame determine what we see and what we do. Leaders need theories as well as ability to complement the theories with skills and grace. Intended learning outcome in this topic. Apply effective and different organization leadership theories and principles for global and local competence. Citational theory of leadership. This theory of Hershey and Blanchard in 1982 point to the importance of support, encouragement, and two-way communication that the leader is conscious all the times in providing his or her followers. This is based on the two dimensions of leaders' behavior, namely task behavior and relationship behavior. Task behavior, it pertains to how the leader is so task focused that makes him or her behave in a manner that much emphasis is given to the accomplishment of tasks, which makes him or her unconscious in getting things done. It is a wholesome actions, definitely not. Over the above of achievement of organizations targets in this concern for the welfare of the followers. So next is a relationship behavior. This is how the leader put premium on respect and rapport to his or her subordinate as they journey with their leader in the relationship of the organization's objectives. Contingency theory of leadership. This work of Friedler reflects the view that success is a function of the interaction between the relationship in the workplace, the task to be carried out, the relative power balance between the leaders and the subordinates, and the prepared style of a leader. Fiedler recommends that any leaders who could want to reach high degree of success must be given the leeway by the organization to develop his or her potential to the fullest, and at the same time maintaining the good rapport with his or her followers. Thus, it necessitate that every leader produce an action plan which is tailored to the needs of a key individual's respond in carrying out or her goals and objectives for the organization on he or she serves. As an authority in education management, Fred Fiedler emphasized that leadership is continued or determined by a particular settings or problem situation which require an application of all leaders' skills and smooth interpersonal relationship with his followers. Principle from the old French precept from Latin principium, meaning beginning, foundation, from precepts is first. It has many definitions to offer in a dictionary, but for education, it refers to the fundamental practices in teaching and learning which serves as guide for teacher to effect worthy learning outcomes. Applying to the organizational leadership, a leader is the mentor who teaches, so to speak, and guides his or her followers to achieve desirable outcome. Many of the established principles in organizational leadership were derived from well-grounded results of his studies, like an example of comprehensive study of managing and leading in terms of leadership styles and how they address various and specific needs of subordinates despite some conflict and differences. It may also come from the viewpoint or judgment of an expert or through the best practices employed by commendable leadership recognized for such. Hence, a leader's inherent commitment to his or her principles should be guided by well-established principles in leadership so that it will be tailored with what is expected from him or her as a leader. Principles of effective organizational leadership. Following are the 10 principles of effective organizational leadership. The first principle is proficiency must be observed on every task. Every leader must not settle for mediocrity. We cannot afford a leader to be an half-baked leader who never knows his craft. Every task is sacred so much so that, if possible, perfection must be sought at is being accomplished. How commendable a leader is whose proficiency in performing his task is evident even in the minor details of the task. As the old adage goes, little things mean a lot. Principle number 2 is master yourself and find ways to improve. It helps to reflect on the wisdom of the ages as it puts premium on the mastery of oneself. The classic slogan say, "To their own self be true." It is applicable to every leader. How can leaders understand the imperfections of their subordinates and other people if they themselves never attempt to understand their own flaws? Again, the old proverb goes, "Do not remove the speck in your brother's eye if you yourself have not removed your own speck of your eye." Teachers should master their subject matter, and so the leader must master their own self. And every some mistake were discovered along the way, the leader must be humble enough to seek improvement. Principles number 3, knowledge of people around you and be aware of their welfare. The late President Ramon Magsaysay was loved by our people because of his care for his constituents. Despite his busy days, as the then president of our country, he took time out to leave the comfort of his office in order to listen to the poor who visited him. He was fondly called the champion of the masses, for he looked out for their needs and welfare. This was a good gesture of humble person who formerly occupied the highest position of our land. If President Ramon Magsaysay can do it, why can be leaders of our time? Principle number 4. Share information with people of one domain. A leader must never be remiss of his duty to keep his or her subordinate abreast of what's going on in their organizations. Memorandum can be disseminated for people silence tasks, seminars, meetings, celebration, among others. In so doing, communication gap will be avoided. The name of the game here is keeping one's followers informed. They ought to know the rules, policies, and whatever changes or adjustment that may occur in the performance of the task assigned to them. If this is done consistently, error in the output will be minimized and prevented. Principle number 5. Be a good example. There is no substitute for a role modeling, as the common adage goes. If a leader introduces new policies for his followers, but himself is the number one who violates it, one may wonder if he is worth emulating or not. As many speakers emphasize, one must walk to talk. Number 6 principles, see it to that every task is clearly understood, monitored, and accomplished. When instructions are given by a leader to his followers, see it that everything is understood. Be open to questions and classifications. If some of the followers seems to be critical, the exercise of maximum tolerance that patient may be rule of thumb. A leader may disagree but agree in order to create an atmosphere of peace and order. Next is principle number 7, comment that train your people to collaborate as a team. Are you aware that a single stick from the broom cannot clean on its own? Applying it to leadership, remember that a leader is not an island who must be alone in his work. Everything leader must remember this: you are not the master of the universe, and as such, you must work with followers to work as a team. Next is principle number 8: decisions must be sound at a time bound. Every leader must be firm with his or her decisions. If the leader has a scattered brain who sows confusions among his or her people because of the loss of concrete words issuing from his or her lips, so that what he or she says now will be altered on the next day without consulting with the followers, then the leader's credibility will surely be tarnished. We admire a leader whose unwavering decision is being held on despite its unpopularity. Next is number 9 principle: create an atmosphere of responsibility in your group. Do you want to work in an environment devoid of trust because your leader never entrusts you even the minor tasks in the office? It's easy for a leader to win the trust and respect of his or her followers if he or she encourages them to work despite the difficulty of the task given them. A leader belief in them will be a moving force to excel beyond their imagination. And the last principle, the principle number 10: do not invade responsibilities and be accountable to your own actions. A leader must be grateful enough that he is still running his office for good. It might be that he is the type of a leader who never say no to his superior when he knows very well that he can tackle the work trusted to him. If along the way some blocks occur that are behind his control, he must take courage to assume the responsibility of falling instead of pointing. After I end this video, I have a saying that as we look ahead into the next century, leaders will be those who empower others, by Bill Gates. And that's all my report. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.